230 years ago, James Madison graduated from Princeton University. Roughly 15 years after his graduation, he became the father of the Constitution of the United States of America. I am humbled when I compare that achievement with what I will have done 15 years from now. I haven't even thought about writing a constitution. I've just been thinking about how much I'm going to miss my friends. But I have a feeling that James Madison must have felt the same way at his graduation 230 years ago. I do not imagine that when Madison walked out Fitz-Randolph Gates, he knew he would write one of the most enduring and venerated political documents in the history of the world. I'm sure that while at Princeton, he and his friends talked about the colony's relationship with England, but I bet they talked more about girls. His future was no sure thing. In fact, not long after his graduation, Madison was so despondent about his future that he wrote one of his friends, "I am too dull and infirm to look out for any extraordinary things in this world." The future president of the United States didn't think he would amount to much. Few things are worse than when we lose hope. It's at these times, even more than at graduations, when our friendships mean the most. This summer, I almost lost hope one day. My roommate Justin cheered me up. He said he had once heard a speaker say that the last thing he did before he left his house in the morning was look in the mirror and say, "I look good. I feel great. Watch out, world, because I'm coming out one more time." I thought it was a pretty stupid thing to say. But he made me look in the mirror and say it, and I admit I couldn't do it with a straight face. It was just too stupid and funny not to lighten my mood. It was just what I needed. To me, the definition of a true friend is one who knows the song in your heart and can sing it back to you when you have forgotten the words. As we stand and wait for the curtain to rise on the next scene in our lives, we are at risk of forgetting the words to the songs of our hearts. Another song is playing louder than ours, telling us that power is the ultimate goal, and your job or your grad school will give you everything you could ever desire. So we sing the melodies of money with the pitches of prestige, but the libretto of our life calls instead for the vocals of virtue and the harmony of humility. We need to remind each other of our songs. See, I've heard Princeton described a lot by the phrase, training the leaders of tomorrow. Do you believe that you're a leader of tomorrow? Or are you blushing at the idea? Does it seem a little quaint? I know I sometimes think that way. Maybe that described our grandparents' generation, but not ours. See, we've grown up in a unique time when it was more fashionable to discover the secret sins and private peccadillos of public figures than to seriously study them for any influence or guidance they might have on how we might conduct our own lives. So deprived of legitimate role models, we risk losing perspective. We risk believing that everyone who steps into leadership is destined to fall. We risk thinking that the most we can aspire to is not public service, but private self-fulfillment and self-indulgence. Well, fortunately, we need not look to Washington or to Wall Street to find our inspiration. We need only look around. Never in my life have I met such a diversely talented, intelligent, and capable group of people than you, with whom I shall stand tomorrow to receive my diploma. Here at Princeton, I've met musicians and mentors, actors and athletes, singers and scientists, poets, priests, and politicians. I now have friends from all over the world, Puerto Rico to Ethiopia to India, even Canada. My next door neighbor is an entrepreneur who's attempting to build a multi-million-dollar company from his dorm room. My sophomore roommate studied jazz with Wynton Marsalis. A girl on my OA trip traveled to South America to set up immunization programs there. I've been in classes with Olympians, athletes who have been drafted to play professional football and hockey. A sophomore year, A friend of mine collected thousands of dollars for war refugees in Kosovo. He didn't have to do it. That's why he became one of my heroes. And his is a song I'll gladly remember. You see, I know our class will do great things because we already are. But before we do any more, let's prepare ourselves. Before we explore the expanse of the heavens, let's expand the size of our hearts. It is fitting and right that we now fix our attention not on great achievements, but on great friendships. Because later we may go into space, but sometimes it gets lonely on the moon, and we need friends who knew us before we left home to remember why we went there. We need friends to help us remember our heart songs. 230 years ago, James Madison graduated from Princeton University. He left behind a song about freedom. His friends helped him remember the words. 230 years from now, will someone remember your song? Do you care enough to help your friends remember the words to theirs? I challenge you, class of 2001. No, I challenge you, class of 2001. Do not just speak the lyrics of your life. Sing them. Sing a song you believe in. Let it be true, let it be loud, and let me suggest the first line. In the nation's service and in the service of all nations. This is Princeton University. There are dreamers here. This is Princeton University. There are leaders here. This is Princeton University. There are singers here. We look good. We feel great. Watch out, world, because we're coming out one more time. God bless the class of 2001.
He's the man.